He is the most feared and powerful warrior. A ninja who breaks from ancient tradition and explodes onto America. His soul possesses the body of an innocent woman and transforms her into a lethal assassin. Who are you?
I want you to help her.
Only a ninja can destroy a ninja.
Her only hope is Yamada, the master ninja, who has been sent to destroy him. Where Revenge of the Ninja left off, Ninja 3 begins. An epic struggle of superhuman strength and supernatural forces. Ninja 3, the Domination.
So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this special edition. It's a tribute, so we'll get Terence McGuire on here. So, hello, Terence.
Hi, Gareth. Good to see you.
Nice to have you back. Very popular gentleman on my channel. Not me, but you are. So, we are doing Ninja 3, The Domination, in honor of the late Steve Lambert, who was, he's in 90% of the film in different guises. So,
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Absolute legend.
Yeah, so we've got the film ready to go. Terence is ready to go, but something's missing. Terence's acting ability. Right. So tonight we have a special guest, the director himself, Sam Furstenberg. Welcome, sir.
Hey, I'm happy to be here with you guys.
Oh, legend. Absolute legend.
Especially after such an introduction. Ninja 3, The Domination.
Oh. It's got to be one of the most. It's got to be one of my favorite action films of all time. This film, to be honest, it's just a thrill ride. It's so much fun. Honestly,
exactly.
Yeah, the movie is already older than 40 years.
That's right.
And it. Within the years, it developed the status of a cult movie. Absolutely, you know, there is like a cult followers to this movie, to Ninja 3: The Domination. It is so different, so strange within the scene of action movies, so eccentric that it developed its own cult followers. I was in a screening not long ago, and people came up. Screening in a theater, and people came to the screening dressed with ninja dresses.
I was tempted myself.
They put together a whole ceremony before the screening.
Nice.
So
yeah, I have the Blu-ray and DVD combo pack from was it Arrow Film? Shout Factory, but because it was very hard to get in the UK because it was banned pretty much because of the weapons. The original VHS, I think, had 1 minute and 5 seconds cut out of it because of the shurikens or throwing stars and other martial arts weapons on display. And I don't think it got a DVD release, so we had to wait for the Blu-ray to see it properly.
Yeah.
We faced kind of similar problems here in the US as well with the ratings, etc. In the movie Revenge of the Ninja, there are even much further more violent scenes here and there that have been cut out, sometimes from the print, sometimes it was cut out for the North America VHS, and we can find it in some missing section in European VHS or other countries. So I don't know today, but at the time we faced the same kind of problems.
Yeah, shame. But now we get it in all its glory in HD and everything. So it's amazing. Right, I'm just going to play a little tribute video for Stephen before we watch the film. So it's about 2 minutes. Here we go.
It's good to see everybody out there. Thanks for having me.
No, it's
Don't even think about it.
Well,
Well, what?
aren't you going to read me my rights? Cuff me? Take me into custody?
Police, you're under arrest!
Oh,
there we go.
well,
Whoa.
that's not even that's a fraction.
I know it would be here for a long time if I did all his stunts.
Yeah.
I did the ones you could actually see him properly. So,
Yeah.
there we go. Bless
I've
him.
never seen this sequence.
Yeah. That
Whoa.
last one, was that another 48 hours?
Another stakeout. I always call it another 40 hours, but it's another stakeout. Yeah, so he must have
Another
been
stakeout.
really-
What did I say? 40 hours? My God.
I
Sorry,
did it
I'm just so
earlier.
starstruck because we have star Sam Furstenberg here. Just strike me down now, God. I'm out here. I'm fine. But
There
yeah,
you go.
1984 was a busy year for you, Sam, wasn't it? Because you did not only Ninja 3, but also Electric Boogaloo at the same time.
Electric Boogaloo is not an action movie, so Steve
Dancing,
himself is not. He was the stunt coordinator, but you don't see him in the movie. He had to bring other stunt people, but a very short, tiny sequence in Electric Boogaloo. I worked with Steven mainly, most importantly, in Revenge of the Ninja, Ninja 3 Domination, and American Ninja. Those were action.
Yeah.
So,
Breaking
so
to Electric Boogaloo was a dance movie. So.
I know. But that must have been some schedule for you, though, in 1984, being not two major motion pictures.
Yeah, we made this period of time, I think starting 71, 72, 73, 1970, 80, I'm sorry. 1981, 1982, American Ninja was 1985. In these 5 years, we didn't stop. I did not stop. I was working for Canon Film. Canon was the company that you showed the logo in the beginning. And they kept employing me one movie after the other. They kept giving me an assignment one after the other. And as you say, between the action, we also squeezed in a dance movie, Breaking to Electric Boogaloo, American Ninja #1, American Ninja #2, Avenging Force in between.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Oh, Avenging Force. Yeah, class. Love that.
Yeah.
Is that the one
But-
with the... Stop me, is that one with Steve James and he's the mayor of the town?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
running for, he wants to
Yeah,
run
oh, he's running for
for
mayor,
a politician.
yeah.
He wants to
That-
be a
oh, yeah.
politician, and there is a group that wants to stop him, and Steve James and Michael Dudikoff, they are friends, and at some point, Michael Dudikoff has to take the revenge for Steve's death.
Yeah. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I love that film.
Speaking of Steve James, Riverbend's getting a proper release now, isn't it?
Riverbend with Steve James, a very interesting thing that happened. it's a movie that I directed a few years later. You know, in the movie Avenging Force, Steve has to die as a character to die, and he hated the idea. He really, really did not like the idea that he's going to die in the movie. And he came to me a few times and said, Sam, can we change the script? Can we do something? And the writer, British actor James Booth, which was actor and writer, he was on the set. He's in the movie also. James Booth is also, but he wrote the script, and this was a tight, great script, you know, a story of revenge. I said, Steve, you don't understand cinema. Steve was a collector of movies. He had many, many movies. So I said, Steve, you understand cinema. This is the story. This is the story of revenge. The Maltese Falcon. This is the story of a revenge. You have to die in order to be a hero. He understood. I mean, he was kidding me. He always say, you owe me. You will owe me for this one, that I'm dying for you in a movie. But later, the chances presented itself that we were offered, Steve and myself, to do this movie Riverbend. And in Riverbend, he's the main hero. He's the lead hero of the movie, and a very heroic movie, a very heroic part on his part of the
Yes, I have seen it. It was on YouTube for a short while, but I know that is it not the Real Black channel that have helped resurrect it? Because I've been watching them as well, and I think I saw them talk to you.
No, so here is what happened. The movie was it was a privately financed movie, Riverbend, and the movie kind of disappeared. It was purchased for distribution by Paramount, and they did come out with a VHS cassette. Not a big amount, very limited amount of cassettes, very poor quality, really poor quality of a VHS. And the movie disappeared. They did not persist in it. And they probably had the rights to distribute for a very short time, Paramount. And that's it. So the movie kind of disappeared. And whatever cassettes were around VHS, they were, as I mentioned, poor quality. And then I found a group of people, association, non-profit organization, which is called Real Black, and they deal with black cinema, especially black cinema, and they're reviving and looking.
They're one of my favorite channels on YouTube.
And he's looking for, and he found the movie. And I uploaded a copy from the VHS. He uploaded them, and that's how we got together. And then Michael Dennis, that runs this organization, said, you know what? We have to revive this movie. We have to find a print and rescan the movie for print. He found one print in South Africa.
Right.
And he bought the print and he scanned it in a 2K resolution. And we found that the scenes are missing from the print. The print also was not in a good quality, scratches and dots and scratches. So, but he was very stubborn. He is a stubborn character. He said, no, we are going to find a better print, much better print. And we found there is one print in the Library of Congress in America where they keep one copy from every movie and every book as well. But they don't give it out. You cannot take it. This is for archival purposes only. So I say, okay, let's keep looking. And then he found out where the negative is. It was in a small laboratory here in Los Angeles, small laboratory. And again, he approached them. Can we get the script? The one copy you have, the negative, it's better than a print for scanning. But they say legally we cannot give it because the movie, was given to us by a company and they control. The company was bankrupt, so we cannot get permission. They say if you bring a permission from the company, we'll give you, but there is no company. The company went bankrupt. So there was a lot of legal obstacles, legal problem. We found out that actually the company MGM is the custodian of the rights, and they don't have the rights to show it anymore because the 10 years, usually the rights are 10 years, and the 10 years lapsed. Eventually, Michael found out another association, another group, which is a non-profit group that of lawyers who are specializing in saving lost movies or orphan movies, as they are called.
Okay.
Those kind of movies which are legally hanging in the limb and nobody can use them. I was surprised to find out that even a famous movie like Kiss of the Spider Woman, Kiss of a Spider Woman is a hanging in the limbo. Nobody can use it. Nobody can show it.
Well.
Yeah.
This is very strange. Anyway, this group of the lawyers, they know how to, and they used all kind of legal maneuvers, and eventually we got the rights. And Michael, we got the negative. I went myself physically to the lab, and they gave me the negative and the internegative and one print, and it was rescanned. Riverbend was rescanned in a higher resolution, what is called 6K resolution.
Right.
And he has now the rights to produce the Blu-ray, which he will do next year. But for now, we are going to have a premiere screening of the resurrected copy, because there was also one print, a screening print. When they gave me the negative, they also gave me a screening print, 35 millimeter. Oh. And the American Cinematheque will conduct a screening in October here in the American Cinematheque in Los Angeles, kind of a premiere with the actors.
Oh, nice.
You know, sadly enough, Steve James is not with us anymore. He died many years ago. But other actors, Margaret Avery, she's the lead from Color Purple. She's the lead female in the movie. She will come to the screening.
Oh, cool.
Oh, good.
And some other actors. Some of them passed away naturally. So it's also 35 years. But some of them are here in Los Angeles. Mainly Margaret Avery. She's the big name that will happen. Really and hopefully the movie will be resurrected. Will come back to life and to the consciousness of the audience in the world, especially fans of Steve James, and there are many fans of Steve James around the world, and collectors and fans of black cinema, because it's a movie that deals with the racial discrimination in America in the South in the 60s, in the 1960s, during the civil rights movement.
Yeah. It's a cracking film.
That's right. It's a really good film, and you should be very proud of it. And I'm so pleased that it's getting it's getting released in a great format finally. Because I remember seeing a trailer for it on a videotape many years ago, and I was like, "What is this Riverbend? I've never heard of this." And it wasn't until YouTube I saw it on the Real Black channel. And I was like, there's that full movie. Sat and watched it. I was like, you know what? This is really decent. And it's great to see Steve James in a lead role.
Yeah.
And
this is
great.
And Steve James, American Ninja, brings us back to Steve Lambert. You know, guys, Revenge of the Ninja was my first chance to direct an action movie. I didn't have any experience in action movie. I was assistant director many years, 5 years, 6 years, in many movies, including a movie that I read about today, The Sorcerer, Billy Friedkin. I was an assistant director in this movie.
Oh, right.
You were the assistant on Sorcerer?
Not the first assistant director, assistant to the assistant. But anyway, I worked with, I can say that I worked with Billy Friedkin.
So you worked on the set of Sorcerer, William Friedkin?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I can say I worked with Billy Friedkin. Okay.
No, but that film,
and there was action. So I had familiarity with action and stunt coordinator, but I never interacted. Actually, you know, strangely enough, now that I'm thinking about it, in the Sorcerer, I was assistant director in charge of the stunt people. Oh. I was not the stunt coordinator. There was some American stunt coordinator.
Sorcerer to me is a perfect film.
But my job was to make sure that they will come in time, that they will be on set.
Yeah.
Don't trust those directors.
So I had some kind of familiarity with stunt and stunt coordinator, not interacting. And with Steve, it was the first time in my life that I really had to work with a stunt coordinator. And he was not the original stunt coordinator of Revenge of the Ninja. There was another guy, I forgot his name. He was the double of Burt Reynolds. So before we even started, he got some much better movie with Burt Reynolds. So he left and he brought in Steve, and he introduces, said, listen, I must leave the movie. I have a much better job, but I will bring somebody in to instead of me. And he brought in Steve Lambert. And he said, this guy will do. And I think that Steve Lambert was a stuntman, but he was never stunt coordinator in charge of a movie before Revenge of the Ninja. It was the first time. Yeah. But anyway, we started to work together. I was a novice. He was a novice. We had both of us had experience in the field, but what we were doing right now, Revenge of the Ninja, it was for both of us was the first time. Wow. So this was the collaboration, and what worked very nice, and what is needed in the relationship between director and a stunt coordinator is a lot of imagination to come up with ideas, because usually the action is not described in a script. Usually when a director gets a script, I'm not a writer, so no, I'm not a Tarantino that writes the script and directs it. So I'm getting a script. Usually those scripts don't describe the action. They say, okay, here we have a fist fight, or few words just in like one paragraph. Now our job is to fill up five minutes of action in this paragraph, in this one paragraph, which you say, okay, they are chasing each other, Steve, and that's it.
When I spoke to Steve, he said that was blank pages. He would get like...
they just, there is a show description, the hero, Sho Kasugi runs away and they are chasing him, the bad guys are chasing him, but they don't describe the action. They don't describe fist fights or how many gunshots. It's usually not described in the original script. The script is busy with the story and characters. That's great. Now the director sits together with the stunt coordinator, which is in this case was a fight in Revenge of the Ninja. Sho Kasugi was the fight choreographer for martial art fights, because some of the fights are martial art fights. This was the job of Sho Kasugi. Right. Steve was in charge of so-called regular fights, which are not martial art, and action, chases, gunshots, exciting stuff. And we have to come up with ideas. And Steve was very imaginative. His imagination was great, either by seeing a lot of movies, either by his experience, either by instinct. So he kind of, we were talking still in the office, and he said, let's do this, let's come up with this. And then we go to see location. And when we see location, it's called location scouting. When we scout location, more ideas are coming, which are because the location sometimes present opportunities that you didn't think about. Yeah. Oh, there's a ledge here. Let him jump from the ledge. We have a fence. Let's take the motorcycle over the fence. So sometimes ideas are coming as we see the location. It's an old abandoned factory. There is a lot of...
Do you think that that's kind of lost now? Because everything is all done with like animatics, storyboarded. Everything's sort of storyboarded within an inch of its life. And they use animatics. They have animated the whole scene before they've actually went out and shot the action scene.
I would say that nowadays, listen, if you deal with Star Wars, everything has to be Star Wars is not location. It's all in studios and all green screen and black screen, and so they might have ideas as they go along, but if for example, if they decided to remake Ninja 3 The Domination today, they would really have it all pre-planned to an extent where it doesn't feel real to me. I don't know, when you guys done it, you done it, and it felt like I can feel the weight of that car. I can feel the actual movement. Precisely. If you do today the Fast and the Furious, let's say, it has a fantastic action. Cars are flying from one building to another in the air. We know it cannot be done physically. So they have to come up with a lot of optical effect, computer-generated effect. They must do it. There is no other way to do it. We did not, and what you're talking about, in the 80s, the directors who did this kind of movie, Steve Carver, Sheldon Lettich, we didn't have a blue screen. There was blue screen, but we didn't have all the computer generated, and we didn't have the money to do optical effect, which the studios, the James Bond could have done. Even James Bond is a lot of physical action. but other movies. We didn't have this luxury. We didn't have the budget. So he had to come up with our stunt coordinator, with the stunt people, to do everything physically. So everything you see in a Revenge of the Ninja, in American Ninja, Ninja 3, it's physically performed.
Absolutely.
By stunt people,
also
either by martial
about,
artists or by stunt people. Sometimes we use athletes, sometimes
about
we...
the actual preparation, about the actual pre-production of the action scene.
Yeah.
You guys were doing it with what you could see. There's this great set. There's this building here, this car. We could use this. We could use that. But these days, everything is so pre-planned with animated sort of animatics that it feels stale to me. I'll be honest with you, Sam. I am not enamored with modern action films, and I don't mean to sound like an old man, but they don't feel real. I don't feel like I buy it. When I watch Ninja 3, especially that first 20-minute opening sequence, I am enthralled. I am absolutely jaws. When he takes the guy off the helicopter at the beginning, like, I'm blown away by that.
Yeah, we actually did it.
Yeah.
So listen, Terence. We had to do storyboard also. It's not like you're on the set and you say, okay, let's do this. Everything takes a lot of preparation. You cannot improvise on the set unless it's something small. But action sequence requires a lot of preparation, special effect, cars, rigging, whatever. So we storyboarded. It is storyboarded, and we know after this shot we'll do this shot and we'll do this shot. At this shot, the helicopter is in the air. The other shot, the helicopter is on a platform, and we are cheating. So it's methodically organized. But you're right, in my opinion, as in your opinion, you're right about the sense of it. It is what I call, you can feel the pain. If you had two people falling from a helicopter to the water, they actually did it. And as an audience, as you sit in the theater or you watch it the video, you can feel that they hit the water. You can feel it. There is something about it. If you see this magnificent effect of water, of blue, digitally generated splash, you can feel that this is not real. So there is something to it.
When I spoke to Steve,
one more thing. The younger audience today, they grew up with video games. It's different from us. We grew up on James Bond. You know what I mean? Steve McQueen, James Bond. The young audience of the day, they grew up playing video games. And they are more used to digital and optical effects because of the video games. I think so.
I agree. But what Steve was saying when I spoke to him was, he was saying that, for instance, when he's on top of the car as the ninja and the car's swerving like this, the weight of his body is in the movement of the car in real physical sense. We can feel that as the viewer. Whereas where you've got Vin Diesel kind of animated on something, it just feels... It insults the audience. The audience isn't stupid. The audience can see, they know the physicality, they can feel it. With Ninja 3, Revenge of the Ninja, American Ninja, you feel the actual weight of...
Right. Precisely, you're right. And here we have to give a lot of credit to Steve Lambert, talking about body language. He knew, him and the group with him, they knew how to exaggerate, how to use the body language, the movement, to enhance the excitement of what's happening on the screen. After all, we are dealing with illusion. The audience are sitting there, and all this movie making is an illusion. But they knew how to do it. And he would come up, Steve used to come up with all kind of crazy ideas, like, let's stand on the top of... I don't know, we used to discuss idea, and everybody threw up some crazy ideas, and some of the ideas never materialized, some of the ideas we executed.
Is there anything?
Taking a car into a lake, physically, no effects, nothing. They build a ramp, and they weigh the car, the back versus the front to make sure that it's balanced. and they know exactly how much fuel to put in the car for this specific. And there is a trap door in the back because he knows when he's inside the lake, he has to escape from this trap door. Have to open the trap door and come up. And he had a little bit oxygen, enough time to stay underwater in case he's trapped in. All of this has to be calculated and organized. And Steve was good. Steve was very good with this kind of things, thinking about, imaginative idea, what I call crazy idea, and dealing with the safety of his people, of himself. And the people around. Indeed, we never had an accident. We never had.
That's the most important thing, isn't it? Safety first, in any walk of life. But is there anything in Ninja 3 that Steve, you would say, contributed to the creativity of the action that you would give him credit for? You say there's that sequence or that moment in Ninja 3 that was just pure Steve Lambert. It was just. Yeah.
So as I told you, again, in Ninja 3, there are two people who were in charge. Steve was in charge of the action. Sho Kasugi was in charge of choreographing the martial art sections. And Sho Kasugi had an assistant, Ellen Amiel, which is also a martial artist and a stuntman and a choreographer of fights. So, I can obviously tell. But sometimes it's a mixed action. Sometimes there is a action, martial art, and then you need a specific flip over a fence. Okay, now we move to stunt department. And stunt department, now you have to bring a gymnast, not a stuntman, because the gymnasts are experts in somersault. Right. So we'll bring a special gymnast with a special air ramp that flies him in the air, and he knows how to do a somersault over a fence, for instance. So sometimes it's purely action, but sometimes it's mixed. There is a fight between Lucinda and Sho Kasugi in a building, in a structure, and they have to fall. Most of the time, it's Steve. It's not Lucinda in the outfit. It's Steve Lambert. But now this is a mixture of martial art and physical, because they go through one floor to another. They break the door and the beams of the building. So here it's a good example of a mixing together martial art and stunt coordinator into one sequence. And most of the time it's Steve Lambert. Steve had the advantage here. He was short, Steve. And that's why he was able to do Phoenix River. So it was very easy for him to double for women. Very easy.
Yeah, he said that. Steve was some of his first work was doubling for women. He said some of his first work on screen was doubling for women. And
nowadays, it's not allowed anymore. Because of some union rules. And I understand it. So, doubling black actors, you must bring a black stuntman. Doubling for a woman, you have to. By the way, also we have to bring a woman. And but there was a woman in the sequence in the cemetery. There is a woman stunt woman. Doubling
for Lucinda when she goes up the tree with the bow and arrow.
Yeah. It's a stunt woman that was working for Steve. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember her name, but it was a stunt.
Yeah, it did look like physically. It looked like a female, actually.
That's according to the rules of the union rules.
Yeah.
So there was.
You don't have to say anything about this, but what do you know about Steve having an affair with Lucinda Dickey?
I really don't know. He put it in the book.
Yeah.
He put it in his book, and when I read it, I was totally surprised. Really surprised.
Right.
Because sometimes you can tell. Listen, the truth is the director is very busy. Director is not very. Director doesn't have time to know what's happening in the back, behind the scenes, because the director is on the set most of the time. If it's 12 hours, the actors, they have time. They sit in their caravans. They have a lot of time in between. The director doesn't have time to rest. If it's not filming, it's preparation, the rehearsals, working with the special effect people. I worked a lot with the cameraman. I have to converse with the camera. So we don't know. The directors don't know what's happening in the behind the scene over there. But I was surprised by this story. I have no clue. I don't know if it's true or not true. I don't have enough guts to ask Lucinda if it's true or not. So.
What you were talking about the stunts and how the action sequences and how you were given so much freedom with the action sequences. Was that just overall what it was like with Menahem Golan and Yoram Globus? Was that you were given a lot of freedom to create?
I don't know how it's hard for directors don't work with directors. So I don't know how other directors work unless when I was an assistant director. But from reading, I know that there are directors who are very strict. They want to do exactly what they have in mind. And some other directors are open to ideas. And that's how they work. By collective, one second. By a collective.
Oh my God. Gareth, I'm going to get you, man. Sam Furstenberg. That is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
That's all right. I thought you'd enjoy it.
I think I missed your birthday as well, didn't I? I feel rotten. I feel like it's my birthday.
I was avoiding it anyway. So yes, I will try to get. If I highlight something, I will read it out in the gap.
So I'm back.
Hey,
this is my friend Jaime.
Hey.
So
hi.
So my method was to approach the stunt coordinator. By the way, the same thing with actors. To approach the stunt coordinator and say, okay, here is what we have to do in general terms. Okay, the bad guy and the good guy and the bad guy there, and let's come up with an idea. Suggest something to me. Cook something for me to eat. Let's hear it. Now remember, I always told the stunt people that I work with, every sequence of action, I want it to be a little story. Don't give me a sequence. Don't build for me a sequence that the hero is on top of the situation all the time.
Yeah.
The Western method. I want the hero to be on top, then the hero to be on the bottom, and then the bad guy, the villain, comes up with some kind of trick, and then the hero has to overcome the trick of the. So every sequence will be a little story. So that's what Steve meant when he mentioned this. My method was to be open, to let the creative people come up with idea. The same thing is right for special effect people. Let's say bullets. I need here bullets on the wall, and then they say, but do you have a better idea? I would ask the special effect guy, pyrotechnic, and the pyrotechnic guy say, let's put some bullet and the wall will fall down. Great idea. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes I would taboo. Sometimes I would veto an idea. I say, well, this is not in the character of the movie, or this is good. Let's see if we have money to do it. Let's talk with production, say if we have enough budget to create what you're talking about. So this is the process. This was my process as a director. Work together with the people, special effect, stunt coordinator, fight choreographer, and same thing with actors. And that's what Steve meant. And this is correct. Now I know that many directors are the same way. It's not a unique method.
Collaborators, they look for inspiration from everywhere. That's so admirable, because you get these ones that are like very much, I don't want to name any names, but like James Cameron, right? James Cameron is this sort of.
He's very strict, very
exactly.
strict. I spoke with people. He knows exactly what he wants, and that's the only thing he allows to do.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a style of directing. For instance, this. I see Lucinda here. For instance, the V8 juice was something that was developed on the spot. It was an improvisation. He contributed to it.
Right.
Jordan Bennett.
Right.
Well,
We
I
were
can't
there.
drink a can of that without thinking about this movie.
Yeah, we were there, and we had a deal. There was a deal. I was not connected. You guys might know that on a movie set, there are sometimes deals with commercial company.
Right.
You know, James Bond will use a certain car because they made a deal with with
Product placement.
MG or whatever. So sometimes there are companies give stuff. They make a deal. If it's a big movie, you're talking about money. A small budget movie, it's only product. So there might have been a deal with the V8. I don't know, but there was always tons and tons of V8 on the set for the people to drink as much as they want.
Right.
So this was probably the deal, and all we had to do is to show it one time in the movie. This is the deal. You can have Coca-Cola sometimes, you know, this kind of things. The actor will drink Coca-Cola, and the company will get Coca-Cola for free for the entire movie. So we had to put it on the table, this one can, in one scene. This was mandatory. And then came the idea of seduction. How does Lucinda and Jordan, what do they do with the seduction? Okay, maybe wine, maybe. And I asked them, I said, let's come up with something different, because she's a health freak in the movie, her character, and she's a teacher of, and maybe Jordan came up, or she or Jordan said, why don't we use the VHS? And I bought it immediately. I said, wow, this is going to be different. Anyway, this movie is a strange movie. Anyway, it's a hybrid movie. Let's do it. Let's go for it. And that's so this is an example of something that will happen on the set as an improvisation while we are going.
Amazing.
Yep.
I can't think of V8 juice. Whenever I see that in the store, the movie just comes.
It worked.
Yeah.
And since then it became a joke for 35 years, for 41 years now, 42 years. It's the biggest joke of that is connected to this movie. The V8.
Yep.
It was one of these even though you might
even this what we see now, the bouncer, the machine.
The arcade machine.
You know, this was an idea that I was influenced by Poltergeist. Poltergeist, the girl is always influenced by the television set. I didn't want to copy. I didn't want to copy Poltergeist, and this was also a deal. Somebody suggested that we show this game, this machine, and I said, "Wow, what an opportunity!" Similar to the television in Poltergeist, let's use the machine, and the machine is an instrument in helping in her possession. The spirit of the ninja is using the game machine to influence her. So that's also not on the spot. Of course, we had to rig the machine. It had to be built. But this game machine and etc.
Was she risk at being blinded by those lights? Did she have to keep her eyes very shut with the lasers going at her face?
We didn't know much about laser at the time.
Okay.
It was the beginning of... Yeah, it was
1983.
People did. It was a laser, and there was a company. It's in Phoenix, Arizona. So there was a local company. They knew how to do this little show. It's nothing to compare to what we do with laser nowadays. Of course,
fix your
eyes. It was the beginning, and she had to shut down her eyes, and we didn't know if it's harmful or not harmful. Nobody knew at the time what laser.
I would honestly say it's one of the most, where you get martial arts and supernatural element to it, and I think that the supernatural element kind of excuses the sort of ridiculous aspects of the film. The fact that it's got a supernatural element, that kind of makes me kind of not worry about things that don't make logical sense. I would say a film that is a great double bill with it would be Big Trouble in Little China, Ninja 3, Big Trouble in Little China. They're that supernatural kung fu movie.
Yeah. But this was, it happened. There is a historical reason for all of it, but there was a problem. In Revenge of the Ninja, Sho Kasugi was the lead, and in Ninja 3: The Domination, the company decided that a female will be the lead, and he will be a secondary, Sho Kasugi. And Sho Kasugi had an objection to the idea that a female will be strong enough to be believable enough that she is a ninja. And that's how the writer, Jim Silk, and myself came up with the idea of possession. She is really possessed by a power of a real ninja. So she is not a real ninja, but
Yes.
a dead ninja, her spirit goes and gives her the power to become a ninja. Now, since this little premise was introduced already, I told myself, as in charge of the movie, okay, anyway, we're dealing with ninja. Anyway, we're dealing with ninjas go together with mysticism. That I understood from the beginning, from Shokasugi, from reading some material about ninja. So ninja always, and even in the Japanese mythology, ninja goes with mysticism, disappearing, reappearing. So I said, okay, let's go all the way. Okay, since we are having here the exorcist because she's possessed, and we are having strange ninja elements. Let's go for it. And at the time, I was influenced by Poltergeist, as I mentioned, and by Exorcist, the Exorcist.
Definitely Flashdance.
And at the time, Jennifer Bales with her movie, what was it?
Yeah,
she's a dancer. There was a big.
Yeah, because you've got her working up the telephone poles, and she was a welder in Flashdance.
She looks like the welder in the movie.
It's the zeitgeist. You weren't the only one, the Flashdance.
So we were influenced by many elements. Listen, we were dealing with a low budget movie. Yeah. We didn't know that 40 years later I will be here sitting with you and talking about this movie. It did not occur to us. It was a small company at the time, Canon. Canon became much bigger later.
Legendary.
But at this beginning, Canon was still a small company doing a small budget movies, independent, small. And, we didn't have a huge budget. They sent us to Phoenix and they said, okay, here, $1.5 million, and just make the movie. So we were just, I didn't know. So we were influenced by what can we grab? What kind of element to make the movie exciting? Of course, my job, the job of the director, is just make sure your movie is an exciting movie. The audience, there is a specific audience. There is a target audience. This is not the movie, the same audience that will go and see philosophical,
Yeah, they're not going to see terms of
this is not a date movie. This is a movie for young people with a lot of energy, and they want to come to the theater and to scream and shout and get excited.
Well, I'm 46, and I still get energized by watching this film. I feel like this film is like it's like a shot in the arm when you watch it. You actually feel kind of excited by it, and not because in no way it's not a violent film. It's just so well put together. That opening sequence with the police and the ninja, it just blows me away every time I see it. And when I show it to people that have never seen it, and it's like, have you ever seen this one? Ninjas on the golf course? Oh my god! Well, here it really kills.
Correct, but you bear in mind, I agree with you, and this was well planned. In every of the action movies that I directed, there are big 3 action sequences: opening, middle, and end. Yeah. It's similar to the structure of a James Bond movie. And in the middle, there are other action sequences, but the opening sequence always broadcasts the idea to the audience, okay, here is the type of movie that you like. Here's the type of the movie that you're going to see. So it's a telegram. It's a telegraphing. It tells the movie, here's an introduction. And sometimes, in a James Bond movie, the opening sequence has nothing to do with the rest of the movie. So James Bond is involved in some action sequence, and then he comes back to London and he gets his assignment. So this is kind of the model that I use. Let's open with a big action sequence, whatever it is, and then we'll go from there. But it's a low budget. You can tell. We use it's exciting. He's going into the lake. He's using a blowgun into the gun, and the gun explodes, and other gimmicks.
I would disagree with you. I don't feel when I actually looked up the budget for this film, I was shocked. I was shocked at how low the budget was, because it doesn't it feels like a quality picture when you're watching it. I honestly thought to myself, maybe 5, maybe 10 at the most $10 million this cost, and it cost something like $1.5 million or something.
Dollars, yeah. It's not a tiny budget. It's 1983. $1.5 million. It's not a tiny budget. It was 9 weeks of shooting, 6 days. So it's not a tiny movie, but it's not a studio movie. Studio movies, they're shooting in 24 weeks, 35 weeks. It's not
And
the
they bore
same.
me to tears. I'm sorry. See, if you were,
So this
I'll
was
give you an
not
example.
tiny.
If someone says to me, "Would you like to watch Die Hard 2 or would you rather watch Ninja 3: The Domination?" I'd be like, "Don't even finish your sentence, Ninja 3." Right?
Okay, thank you for the compliment.
No, it's an absolute truth.
Yeah.
But I was wondering about your opinion on that, about how films these days have these like
$300 million.
budgets. Like they're like $250 million to make and things like that.
Listen, when we are talking, nowadays, retrospectively, I'm looking back. This is 40 years since we made those movies. Revenge of the Ninja, Ninja 3, The Domination, Avenging Force, American Ninja number 2. So now it's 40 years, more or less. And the one thing I can say, the most important is my amazement. Because when we made the movie, you were young teenager when you saw it. So it was exciting. When I was a young teenager or before teenager, I saw Tarzan. Tarzan was for me American Ninja. Tarzan is a low-budget movie, or Sinbad and the Seven Seas. The Voyage of Sinbad.
Yeah,
it's a low-budget movie, but for me as a kid, it was amazing.
Yeah.
So back to myself, when we made the movie 40 years ago, we were in the same level. We were making independent, low-budget movie. I could not imagine at the time, back then, that 40 years later, those movies will still be alive, will still be relevant. People will still see them, screen them. There will be screenings. There will be such a huge base of fans. I'm getting so much mail and so much activity in the internet around those movies that I am amazed. So my feeling, to answer your question the best I can, is my feeling that I'm amazed at this miracle. Because in cinema, if you take the Hollywood and the British cinema together, thousands, hundreds of thousands of movies, 80% of them are disappearing. We don't hear about them anymore. They just gone. Maybe 20% survive. 5% are really, classical, Rocky. Casablanca, 5%. But even to be in those 20% of movies who survive 40 years, and by now I can kind of imagine that American Ninja will survive another 40 years. Because we can tell already. It's there.
Absolutely.
It's there with the Rockies and the First Blood.
It's up there with the great action films of the 80s. And people tip their hat to the 1980s as the great era of action films. And the canon stuff that you put out, it stands neck and neck with them. I'm sorry. There's so many. There's so many famous, large budget 80s action films, big stars and all that. And I'm sorry, but Ninja 3, it just.
Listen, it's not in the level of popularity. It's not Star Wars. No way.
But the quality, the actual excitement, the actual entertainment, it can't be beat. In fact, a lot of the time.
So I'm amazed, and I'm proud. I feel lucky that it happened that I'm part of this group. Like Sheldon Leddich, who made the movies with Van Damme. Let's say. Yeah. I'm happy that we are in a group that.
Yeah, exactly. The Lionheart is a great movie. I love
Lionheart, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies that made it.
What did you think about Quentin Tarantino? Because I've heard him say that when he worked in video archives long before he was a film director, that he would look forward to a Sam Furstenberg movie to come out in the big screen.
Yeah. So we know that Tarantino was. I'm happy. I'm reading his book right now. It's a very interesting book, Quentin Tarantino. Interesting book. The book he wrote. He grew up in the movie theaters, and then he was working in a rental shop, and basically just watching movies all day long. So obviously, from a cinematic point of view, he's a genius. He didn't go to film school, nothing. So he's a born genius for cinema, like Steven Spielberg. He's born, but he was influenced, like all of us, like every movie maker, influenced by other things that he saw in his childhood And it so happened, as I mentioned, I was influenced by Tarzan and James Bond and Sinbad and David Lean and whatever, the movies of David Lean and movies of Akira Kurosawa. So he admits that he was influenced by those movies of the 80s. He was influenced by movies of Sam Firstenberg. He took it one step higher with Kill Bill, you know. Yeah. So Kill Bill is Revenge of the Ninja, but on a higher level.
Yeah, well, it's got a far larger budget.
So, but he's an artist and man enough to admit that he was influenced by those movies, and those are the movies that really influenced him rather than the big budget movies, and that's what made him into the director Quentin Tarantino.
Have you ever interacted with him?
No, only by a little, not directly. There was a book written about my movies by Marco Siedelman in Germany, but it's in English. This book.
Ah, yes.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Stories from the Trenches, the cinema. So he got this book, Tarantino. Tarantino is a collector of movies, of 35mm prints. And he has a theater here in
the New Beverly,
Los Angeles. So I know from witnesses that in his collection, Ninja 3: The Domination is one of his favorite movies in his collection. So it's important enough for him to have a personal copy of Ninja 3: The Domination. And the screening next week, in the 25, there is in his theater in Los Angeles. He owns a theater here, which is called the Beverly Cinema. There will be a 40th anniversary celebration on the 25th. The two American Ninja 1 and American Ninja 2. The screening, double bill. Like he grew up and I grew up a double bill. We went into the theater, we saw two movies.
No, because I recall hearing him talk about when he worked in Video Archives, and it was the week that American Ninja was coming out, and him and his buddies were going to see it on opening night.
And he's telling it. There is a video that he's talking about. Yeah. He's talking about, because they already saw, he had a group of, according to the way he tells it in the video, that he had a group of young friends, all of them were young, and they already saw they already saw Revenge of the Ninja, they already saw Ninja 3: The Domination, and then they were so excited and in anticipation for American Ninja to come out. And in the way he puts it in the movie, in a funny way, he said it was the club of the Sam Firstenberg cinema fan, and I was the president of the club.
See, what was I going to ask you? Oh, I had something there. When you were in Hollywood at the time working for Canon, right? Because I know that Canon were not welcome to Hollywood parties and things like that. They were outsiders. Did you feel that as a director for them?
I will explain it. Canon was a small company in New York, not in Hollywood, in the beginning.
Yeah.
Menachem Golan and Yoram Globus were Israeli filmmakers, and they made movies before they purchased the company. They took over this company, Canon.
Yeah.
Because they really wanted an American company. They had they had a European company before, but they wanted an American company. So they took over after they had a big success with the Lemon Pepsicle. They had a lot of money and Operation Thunderbolt. So they took over Canon and they moved it from New York to Hollywood. Now, there are other companies similar to Canon, Crown International, Shapiro Glickenhaus, same type of small independent companies that make small budget movies. But Canon is ruled by the studios. At the time, traditionally, there were 7 studios, the 7 big ones, and plus United Artists. And they ruled Hollywood. United Artists disappeared with the time, but you still have Universal, you have Warner, you have Fox, Paramount, Disney, they have a lot of money because they have the libraries, they have huge libraries, and they have theme parks. It's a conglomerate, every one of them. And they rule Hollywood and the system, and they cooperate with each other. They don't really like the small companies, but they need the small companies because who will make the low budget movies? The studio cannot make a low budget movie because of the operation. The minute they start, they touch a movie, it's already 20 million, 40 million, 60 million. They don't know how to make $1 million movie. It's not for them. So they need the small company. The problem, even Coppola had his own, Spielberg had a small company, Emblem. Coppola had a small company. So the studios, but they don't let those companies become studios. They always keep them under control. Only us, the 7 companies, will control. Now, MGM is not one of the big ones anymore nowadays. But still, they control with money and power, they control. Canon was, the problem was Canon. Canon in the beginning was like one of the others, low budget companies that will make horror pictures, low budget science fiction, low budget action. But Canon had an aspiration to become a studio. They became bigger and bigger. At some point, they were producing like 12 movies a year, 14 movies a year. And they believed that they will become one of the, similar to one of the 7. But those companies, Universal, Paramount, they don't like this kind of competition. So they won't let them. So that led to the conflict that you are talking about. At some point, those big studios became like nemesis to Canon. They wanted to make sure that Canon does not become big as they are, because they are the rulers. You cannot take over. And this was the friction. I was working for Canon. Canon had a lot of work, so they just kept producing movies, and the type of movies that I directed, it was fine. It's fine. So I always wished, it would have been beautiful if one of the studios would call me one day and say, here, you can make a big movie like Billy Friedkin or Walter Hills or whatever. But it didn't happen. I kept working for Canon. And similar. After Canon, there was a New Image. I made movies for New Image. I directed movies for New Image, which was a similar.
I know that going back to Steve Lambert, he had a falling out with Menahem Golan.
No, not really.
After he did American Ninja, or may have been before American Ninja, he went off to do a film called Remo: The Adventure Begins for Orion.
Yeah. He moved to bigger budget movies. He moved to Remo. He moved to Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones, yeah.
So Steve suddenly didn't need the work. But stunt people and stunt coordinators, they need any work they can get. For a director, when I make a movie, it might be 7 months, 9 months of work. It's a year. It kind of occupied the year. Stunt people, they come, they work, they go. So they need people to call them all the time, come and work for us. And of course, studio pays, Indiana Jones pays much better than Revenge of the Ninja or Ninja 3: The Domination. The payment is much better, and the benefits.
I'm surprised that 20th Century Fox didn't offer you Predator or some of those big budget action films from the 1980s. Because honestly, I think you would have really kicked ass. Because when I think of great film directors of the 1980s, you're right up there, because Ninja 3, The Domination, who can make a film that entertaining in such a short time, such a short budget? And then you've got Electric Boogaloo in the same year. Unbelievable.
Yeah, but you never know what will happen. And you bring me back to Steve Lambert. When he moved to work with the big studios, he was not a coordinator anymore. He never made it to the what was the coordinator of the Indiana Jones? Was actually an English stunt coordinator.
What's his name?
Vic Armstrong.
Vic Armstrong. Yeah.
I met Armstrong. Yeah, it was Armstrong. He was the coordinator for the Indiana Jones. So for some reason, I don't know why, Steve never made it to this level. He worked a lot in the studio, like he worked a lot with James Wood.
James Wood's films. Yeah.
He was the double for James Wood in many movies. And
Do you think
Remo Williams, he
canon-
was one
the
of the
canon-
main, but he was not stunt coordinator anymore. And but he introduced me to this guy one time. So that's interesting. Why he never made it into. Okay, I know. Steve Lambert was confrontational. He was not political in Hollywood. In the Hollywood system, there is a lot of politics. It's not only making the movie. Even big directors, big stars have to play the politics of Hollywood, of the money, because you are talking about big money, big power influences, and especially big money. There is a big money. Let me shut it. There is a big money changing hands in Hollywood.
That was
And
20th Century Fox on the line.
and those studios, they don't want to spread the wealth. With minimal, if suddenly Steven Spielberg comes into the scene of Hollywood, they have no choice. They must include him. They say, okay, you Steve, come, Spielberg, you're one of us, Okay.
Yeah, because he made Jaws. I mean,
But
Jaws just
or
away.
Clint Eastwood. So they say, okay, Clint Eastwood, you are part of us. You can create your own company and we'll give you a nice office in Warner. And he's already 30 years, has this beautiful building inside the Warner brother, because they have no choice. But other than that, the companies, they don't like to share the wealth with other people. And so people who knows how to play the politics in Hollywood succeed more. Steve Lambert was very confrontational character. He would get into fights and arguments, and that doesn't work with studios. Studios need yes men, people who
toe the line.
Who goes with the stream. Don't try to make too much. And sometimes even famous big directors don't become part of the Hollywood. Even we are talking about Tarantino. He's not mainstream Hollywood. He made movies for independent companies and distributed by them. But he didn't make movies for the studio. Never worked for Universal.
It's always his own. It's his own screenplays that he's making. He
has his own company, but he works a lot with independent company who later maybe sold the movies to Hollywood distributors. But he's not.
Did you never get to? Were you never offered? Because I know there was this point, according to the documentary Electric Boogaloo about Canon films, there was this point where they had two separate piles, one for Chuck Norris and one for Charles Bronson. Did you ever get to work? Was there ever potential you directing Charles Bronson in the 1980s?
No, not Bronson. Bronson worked only with Lee Thompson, J. Lee Thompson, only.
Or Michael Winner.
Bronson did not accept any other director, only J. Lee Thompson and the English director.
Yes.
What's his name?
Calm down there.
Death Wish.
Yeah, Michael Winner.
Bronson worked only with those two directors, Michael Winner and J. Lee Thompson. Didn't talk with any. With Chuck Norris, I was in.
He was originally meant to be Joe Armstrong, wasn't he?
And him and his brother Aaron Norris. And I was supposed to direct this movie that he did
Missing in Action
in Vietnam, in the one they went to the Philippines. It was a sequel to the not Invasion News, Missing in Action. Missing in Action number 3 or number 4, one of them.
Oh, right.
I was supposed to direct. I was in contact with him for some conflict, like for family reason, personal reason. Eventually, I did not do it, and Aaron directed it.
Right.
Aaron Norris directed it, and there was a terrible accident, helicopter accident in the movie.
Was there? Oh, goodness.
Mm-hmm. But I knew Chuck Norris. They offered me a few times to work with Chuck, but not with Bronson. Bronson was... I was friendly with J. Lee Thompson, and I used to come to the set sometimes when they were filming. Bronson always inside the caravan, never associated with the crew, with the people. Only 8 hours he would come. Everything has to be ready. And Thompson knew how to deal with Bronson very well. He came up in the morning, let's say 10 o'clock, everything is ready, the set is ready. Okay, Mr. Bronson, you move from here to here. End of the cut, he goes to his caravan, close the door. He did not never associated with the crew or with the cast or with the people.
Oh,
that's how he was, Charles Bronson.
That's a shame.
Yeah. Well, I have heard the same. Yeah, like he was.
You could have met the best friend of his life.
But listen, the big movie that I did not direct that I was offered is with the Van Damme movie.
Bloodsport.
I'm sorry. The movie Bloodsport, before Van Damme. Van Damme was not associated with this movie. I was given the script of Bloodsport. I did not like the script. It was after American Ninja. I much rather did Avenging Force. Bloodsport was in one location. I said, I don't want to make a movie in one location. Rather, I'm reading the script, Avenging Force, which is much bigger and many locations, etc., etc. And somehow they ended up. Van Damme was not connected to it at the time when I was offered.
Well, it would seem like quite a dull script without Van Damme. I think if you
know what happened, Van Damme was already in relationship with Canon. He made the movie Cyborg, I think, for Canon.
Yes.
And somehow, I don't know. By the way, interestingly, just talking about coincidence, the director who directed Bloodsport was the assistant director in The Sorcerer, the chief assistant director that I worked under him. It was the only movie he directed, Bloodsport. Only one movie. He was a very famous assistant director in Hollywood. And the only one movie that he directed. And after they finished the movie and they came back from the Thailand, I think it was in Thailand. Canon people did not like the movie at all, and they shelved it. They didn't want to distribute it. They did not believe in the movie. Wow. But Van Damme was insisting, and he was bothering Menachem Golan all the time. We have to do something. And then they brought in Sheldon Lettich and the editor Michael Duffy, which was British also. You have many people in Canon. Many British people were in Canon. So James Booth, Michael Winner, Michael Duffy, the editor. So Sheldon Lettich, together with Michael Duffy, the editor, they restructured the movie. It was 2 years after the movie was made. They restructured the movie. Maybe they added a scene or two. I don't know if Sheldon also filmed some material. I have no idea. And then it came out, and then of course it became the hit that it was.
Bloodsport was
and
everywhere.
It made Van Damme. He became Jean-Claude Van Damme after this movie. So this is my big miss that I did not direct.
He also did turn up in not Breaking 2, but Breaking 1.
Yes.
He's one of the people at the
in Venice. He was around in Canon. He was coming and going, talking with Menachem Golan. Give me a break. Give me a break. And I think what happened, one day he was in his office and he said, you know what, today they are shooting a scene, filming a scene of breaking in Venice Boulevard. Go there and see what they are doing. Because Van Damme was a martial artist, indeed, of course, but he did not have any experience in the movie business at all. And eventually Menachem Golan gave him a chance.
I would love to see you direct a film with Van Damme. That would be perfect for me. Actually, I could just drop dead after watching that.
Absolutely correct. Later on, when I had the chance to direct American Samurai, it has a lot of similar element. It's in an arena. The last 45 minutes of the movie are taking place in an arena, the one big difference, that the whole idea of the Bloodsport in the arena, that every fight, every sequence use different weapons.
Yes.
It's not hand-to-hand combat through the entire tournament. The tournament is different weapon. So we had a chance to display a lot of martial art, different weapons. So it's more of a weapon fights than martial art fights. Weapon martial art fights. But they're absolutely correct. So it became so. Eventually, I did Bloodsport in a way.
Yeah, does he love that movie? Underrated. It is. It's a fantastic film.
Yeah, but you know that last year we visited this movie together with my friend from Canada, and we re-edited. He re-edited the movie. I did not, and structure it to the original way that it was when I finished the editing. And now the way most of the movie is in the arena, the major part. Okay. Because there was a time that the producer added scenes that they wanted more love story and more romance and more background of the little David Bradley when I was a kid. And in my opinion, it was not important. The important part was to stay in the arena and to show the fight and the technique. We lost some fights which we could not find. I think 2 fights are missing because they added love scenes, and so they took away 2 fights that we could not find the material. But still, the sections in the arena in the fight, it's still very impressive. Good fights. I had a fantastic stunt people and stunt coordinator. The stunt coordinator was Guy Norris from Australia. He's famous because he was the second unit director and stunt coordinator of the Mel Gibson movie.
Yeah, the Mad Max ones.
Max twice. In the 2 movies, he was the stunt coordinator of Max.
Nice.
Guy Norris, fantastic guy, and he brought in some fighters from Hong Kong and from Australia, so it was pretty good.
Okay, excellent. So there's a few people. So yes, you and Stephen did a commentary track on the Blu-ray for this film. If anyone wants to check it out, were you together when you filmed that, or the?
Yeah. We were sitting together in the studio.
Oh, cool.
So when we did the commentary for the Blu-ray, Steve and me we were very friendly. Steve lived when he was alive. He lived not far from me here, and we were very friendly. And when I was asked to do the commentary, I said, it's better, 2 people are better than 1 people. So one time, and I was approached to do the commentary for Revenge of the Ninja, Ninja 3, the Domination, American. So one time I brought with me Steve.
Right.
One time I brought with me BJ Davis to do the commentary for American Ninja number 2. One time Michael Dudikoff came with me to do the American Ninja. And one time Shabadoo to do the commentary for Ninja 3 for Breaking 2.
Rest in peace.
Yeah,
and this was quite an experience to bring Shabadoo. because BJ Davis and Steve Lambert and Michael Dudikoff, I'm in contact. I was not in contact with Shabadoo at all, and I had to look for him and to find him. And he agreed, and he came, and we did the commentary track together.
Did you? Here's the question: were you ever offered an episode of a TV show like maybe Miami Vice by Michael Mann or something? Because you had that.
No, but I directed the whole season of a television show. It's called Sweating Bullet. It was a ABC late night show. Same thing, detective show. Okay. And I directed the entire season, but not every episode. A director can only direct every second episode because the work is so tight. So when one director prepares, the other director directs, and then he prepares and he directs. So this is my only experience in television. It was a detective show. It was called Sweating Bullet or Tropical Heat or Sweating Bullet. It had 2 names.
Tropical Heat, I think it's over here.
And it was a detective story, the same thing. But that's a completely different type of work. It's the schedule is very demanding. In 6 days, the director has to do the half an hour show in actually 5.5 days.
I remember Edward James Olmos saying that when it comes to takes, it's like 3-1, with a feature film average 7-1.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, what we call the coverage. I can do much more angles per sequence, and there is more time or more money. Television is demanding. We have to finish the whole episode in 5.5 days, and there are in a television series, if you notice, there are long dialogue sequences, long dialogue scenes, because this is the cheapest way to produce material is people talking to each other. Yes. So you will have the detective and his officer, his superior, they will sit and talk for 5 minutes, blah, 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 talk and talk and talk, because this is the cheapest way to produce minutes.
Of course.
And action, once you go outside of the office and you have to do a chase, now it's more expensive per minute of on the screen. So television sequences, unless it's a prestige television, like Miami Vice, which was a big budget, of course, obviously. No, but I was except this 1 year of Sweating Bullet, I did not do any more television.
I think you would have been brilliant in an episode of Miami Vice directing that, because Abel Ferrara, Paul Michael Glazier, they directed episodes of it, and they did.
Nowadays, it's more common.
Yeah,
more common nowadays. But back then in the 80s, not so much. The movie directors were movie directors. The television directors were television.
Yeah, I just thought that maybe Michael Mann would have seen Ninja 3. The
maybe I
recognized there's real skill here. We need to grab that.
Yeah.
I think it's there. It's our loss.
I don't know. It didn't happen. Nobody approached me.
No,
except this, as I say, except this 1 year of Sweating Bullet.
Okay. So you weren't asked to do an episode of The Master that Sho Kosugi did?
No, Sho Kosugi had a fallout with Canon. There was like after
this movie, it was this movie, wasn't it?
He didn't like the Canon people anymore.
Okay.
And I was in contact with him here and there, but for him, the Canon people were banished, as far as he's going. He saw me as part of the Canon people.
Okay.
And I had enough work. I was not looking for work,
because Steve Lambert, he was.
But I visited Sho on the set of The Master.
Okay.
Steve Lambert did say that he was heartbroken that him and Sho Kosugi fell out.
With the problem, in the world of martial art, which I didn't know before anything, I'm not a martial artist. I discovered that in the world of martial art, there is a hierarchy and a lot of. Now, I didn't know at the beginning that Steve Lambert was a martial artist. I didn't know in the beginning. I just knew him as a stuntman. Later on, I discovered that actually he's a trained martial artist for many years.
That's when he got his start.
And so you have cliques, you have groups. You have the Sho Kosugi group, you have the Tadashi Yamashita group, the Chuck Norris people. And there is a lot of ego playing. And this is the world of martial art. They have magazines, they have books, they have television show. So I think the confrontation between Steve and Sho, they worked very well together. But as long for Sho Kosugi, I think so. As long as Steve will not present himself as a martial artist, you understand? He's a stuntman. He should.
So there's a hierarchy. Like, I'm a martial artist. You cannot.
Yeah, and don't pretend.
My presence.
Yeah, I'm the sensei. Sho Kosugi was always surrounded by 7-8 people who just followed him wherever he stepped. Those 8 people.
That makes so much sense now.
He was the sensei. He was the sensei. He was the teacher, the master, and he was a master. He's champion. Steve was not one of the champions. Steve was not like Richard Norton or Tadashi or. All of them had the world championship, trophies. Mike Stone was a world champion. Sho Kosugi was the champion of Japan in martial art. You talk about people in this world of martial art, they were top of the top. Richard Norton, the people who I work with, Richard Norton. Sho Kosugi, Mike Stone, Tadashi Yamashita, and Chuck Norris. They were all people who were champions of competitions, well-recognized champions. Steve was not there. He had a lot of trophies, had a lot of competition experience, but he never was a national champion or world champion. It was a different level. In this world of martial art. And that's why something went wrong between Steve and Sho Kosugi, related to the world of martial art.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know enough about it.
Okay.
But do you think that the fact that he was not as decorated a martial artist as Sho Kosugi, maybe took more risks physically in the cinema arena of actually like doing stunts?
No, in every sport in the world there are champions, and there are people who never make it to the top. It's an ability.
Yeah.
This is a talent.
It's life, isn't it?
Some people are.
There's politics there as well, yeah. Just like there is
In every sport, not everybody is David Beckham. what can you do? It just so happened. This is a talent. There are people on the top. If we take soccer, football, there are people who are on the top, and there are Lionel Messi. Not everybody is Messi. What can you do? And how comes
I'm very messy, but I'm not.
If somebody is pretending to be Messi and to tread on his reputation, and there is a competition. Right. By the way, David Beckham is now the boss of Lionel Messi.
Wow!
Yeah, he owns the Miami team, and Messi is working for Miami. So Beckham is his boss.
Cece wants to know: was there a funny stunt blooper or two from Steve Lambert that sticks out, or was it just a straight business?
Blooper. I don't remember. I'm sure there was some problem. The big one that did not happen, which was really dangerous, was Steve Lambert in one scene crosses between two high rises on a wire. High on the 11th floor or 12th floor, and the special effect people strung a wire between the two buildings, and because of the situation we could not. He had to go from one side to the other and break through the window and jump into the next room in the building. That's why he could not be harnessed with a safety, because usually it will be done with a ring and a wire and a safety. Yeah. If something happens, if he loses his grip. But we couldn't do it because he had to lose the grip at the end of the crushing through the window, through the glass, to sugar glass. It's a sugar glass. So they strung the wire, and Steve was ready to do it. Steve had an assistant, the chief in Revenge of the Ninja. And he said, Steve, you just don't do it. Usually the procedure, you take triple your weight, sandbags, and you send it first time. But the sun was setting and whatever, and we were under pressure, and Steve pushed him aside and said, no, I'm going to do it. And he held him. He held Steve. He said, no, you're not going to do it before we send the sandbags. Triple your weight. I think this is the rule. They sent the sandbag and the cable snapped. Actually, he saved his life. So then they re-rigged it for another day, much better, with a better... there was something very funny. Yeah, now I remember. When Steve was crazy, he liked to play pranks. Stunt people, they love pranks. Okay. So when we did the Ninja 3 the Domination, a car is going into the water, into the lake, under the water. Steve was the driver. And of course, there are people, divers in the four corners, in case he's not coming up after 20 seconds, 40 seconds, after the shot, after the director say cut, if another 20 seconds they don't see the driver, the diving people will jump in, go to rescue him, and he has enough oxygen, if nothing goes wrong, to survive 1 minute or 2 minutes underwater. Okay, so Steve is the driver, he takes the car, up in the air and into the water. I wait a little bit, cut. Steve nobody comes up. We wait the right amount, 20 seconds, whatever. The four divers dive in. I don't see them. They don't come up. Okay. Then the divers come up and they say, the car is empty. There is nobody in the car. So eventually, he was doing this prank. The minute they landed, he came out of he did not open the trap door to make it more crazy. He swam probably through the window and there were reeds, and he went and he hid in the reeds. And when the divers came in, the car was empty. And he waited in the reeds like 10 minutes. and they started to look for him. Maybe something happened, and they were swimming underwater all over the lake to see where is his body or where is he. Meantime, he came up from the other side behind this filming company, and everybody's looking forward, and Steve came from the back. Okay, this was his joke.
Here's one though.
But then we did the prank. We reverse it in Revenge of the Ninja. We did the prank first to Steve. There is a section where we are on top of the roof, the final fight of the Revenge of the Ninja, and there is a section that the bad ninja is hiding in the pool, in a jacuzzi, and Sho Kasugi is walking looking for that, and the bad ninja, the bad guy, comes up out of the water with a knife, with a sword, cuts his his legs, whatever. Okay, so Steve was in the water. So the way we decided to do it is we'll have a little wire, unseen, unobtrusive wire. Steve will be under the water. He will hold the wire because he doesn't know when to jump up out of the water. There was no way. You cannot give him a verbal signal. Okay, so we rehearse it. Sho Kasugi is on the top of the jacuzzi. Steve, we pull the wire at the right moment. He comes out, cuts it. Rehearsal. Good. Okay, now the real thing. Now we already prepared. Everybody in the crew knew exactly what to do. The minute, and Sho Kasugi didn't know, and Steve didn't know. The only two people didn't know the prank. The minute Steve took a deep breath and went underwater, the entire company disappeared. We took the camera, we took the lights in seconds. Everybody was ready, prepared, and we hid in a little shack on the roof. Everybody. And so Sho Kasugi is doing this. He didn't realize that all of us disappeared. Sho Kasugi is doing what he has to do. And he's waiting now for Steve to come up and to cut him with the sword. But we decided nobody is pulling the string. And Steve is underwater and he's choking, but he was trying to be good soldier. A loyal, good soldier, and wait until we pull the string. And nobody pulled the string. Eventually he was out of air. He jumps out. And he looks at Sho Kasugi, Sho looks at him, and nobody, there is no crew, everybody disappeared. It was all prepared. We prepared it very nice. So this was the time that we played a prank on Steve.
When I spoke to him, I asked him about a gag that he did in American Ninja. And it was, because when I watched the film, it always made me laugh that there's a scene where Michael Dudikoff drives a motorcycle to escape the army barracks so he can go on his date. And it's quite clear in your film, you don't cut away from this, that he hits his face right off the motorbike when he comes down. And I always imagined the next scene would be Michael Dudikoff at his date with his teeth.
No, this is Steve. No, it is Steve. This was an interesting story. Steve used to bring, there are motorcycle stuntmen. People who are specialized in motorcycle. You can see it in Revenge of the Ninja. There are motorcycles chasing them, and then one of the motorcycles is rolling. This is Robbie Cannibal, the son of Evel Knievel.
Yes. Evel Knievel's son.
Robbie Cannibal was famous in Hollywood. Maybe he still is. I don't know. For doing stunts with motorcycles. So in Revenge of the Ninja, we had 4 motorcycles and 4 specialists for all kind of. Also, the motorcycles are going into the lake. Also, Robbie and other people, other stunt people. Now, in the Philippines, Steve didn't have a specialist. I decided that the way Michael comes out of the base, because we have a wall and okay, we'll bring a ninja motorcycle. We had to bring it from Hong Kong. There was no ninja motorcycle in the Philippines. We were in Manila.
Right.
So we brought it from Hong Kong. It just came out. It was a brand new motorcycle type, Ninja, the Ninja.
Kawasaki
so we
Ninja.
bought one in Hong Kong. We brought it over. And now we have to go over. So we said, naturally, the idea with that Michael Dudikoff will use the ramp, the natural ramp of the garage, go over where they put the trucks on top, and he will go over the wall, escape from the base. So So Steve was in charge of the stunt, and he started to look for a specialist in Manila, in the Philippines. And a guy came, a Filipino stuntman, motorcycle specialist. Okay. Now we had to do it physically because, as we mentioned, we didn't have any optical effects, nothing of that kind. and we had to do it physically. So they put hay on the other side. He had to take the motorcycle. Now the base was higher than the street outside. They were not the same level. So on the other side, he had to fall much more than taking off on the base side.
Yeah.
And so the first guy comes in, and there was a ramp, and he has to fly over the ramp. He revved the motorcycle. He rehearsed a few times without going over, of course, naturally. And then we are ready. Cameras, 4 cameras, 5 cameras from each side of the wall. And he takes the motorcycle to the edge of the ramp, and he chickened. He didn't have the guts to go over. He was not brave enough.
He bottled that.
Second take, he didn't do it.
He bottled that.
Yeah, that's what happened with the local stuntman. So we looked for a second stuntman, maybe another one. Exactly the same story repeated itself. He came in, he rehearsed, couldn't, was not brave enough. He didn't have the guts to take over. So Steve got mad, or he felt embarrassed. He said, "Okay, move. Give me the wig." There was a special wig. There was a Michael Dudikoff wig.
Yeah.
Okay, we dressed Steve Lambert with the uniform and everything, and he put the wig, and he did it. He did no rehearsal, nothing. Steve was very brave. I told you, he was like he did the crossing between the 2 buildings. Oh, yeah. He was very brave. He didn't know. Fear was not within him. He just took the motorcycle to the other side, and indeed, where you see the head crashing into the steering. This is Steve, and then of course we replace him with Michael. Michael does the final fall from a small ramp and pretend to be.
And he goes to his date and his face isn't all mangled.
But I've seen it. People put it in the YouTube, in the internet, in slow motion. You cannot see it in a regular speed. You don't see it.
But because
you can see it in a slow motion. You see that he hit the motorcycle, but not in.
I asked Steve about it, and he said like what you see in the film is where they cut, but if you left it running and in the original take, you would just see the whole bike topple over. Is that right?
Yeah, soon we'll have to finish. My wife will need the Zoom for a while. Yeah, this was in American Ninja #2, and Michael had a body double, and the same particular day he didn't feel very well, so he did all his close-ups, shooting, filming this direction, and then from the back we used the double. Double was exactly the same height, the same only. So Steve James was here with the Michael's double, and they have to exit. And they do exit with the double, but you probably know, guys, that at the time there was the editing machines had a very small screen.
Yeah,
the movies were edited on Moviola, and Moviola had a screen this size. And perhaps in the small screen of this editing machine, the editor and me, including me, did not realize that you can see the face of the double for a split of a second. And then when it was on the big screen, everybody I didn't know, and then I started to get the comment from people say, "Wow, we see that it's the double, it's not Michael." So I think that's what happened. That on the small screen could not be recognized, but in the big screen it's recognizable.
Taking you back to your old boss, William Friedkin, he said that one time that I don't care about mistakes. I don't care about continuity errors. I don't care if you can see the crew reflected on the car windscreen. If the story's engaging enough and if people care enough, they won't notice.
Absolutely correct. If the movie is engaging, if the moment is captivating, if you are excited and in the story, you cannot see a continuity. It's hard to see if a watch disappears and reappear in the head. Very hard.
I don't care.
People, here and there are people who are talented. They can spot it right away.
You get these people that nitpick these things, and it's boring as hell to me. See, in Superman, the original Superman, Richard Donner, there's a scene in it where Lois and Clark are walking through a revolving window, and I watched the audio commentary with Richard Donner talking over it, and he says, "Look, you can see the entire crew in this revolving window." And you know what? I would never have noticed that unless I watched that audio commentary and point that out.
Because of the moment, if it's in the middle of
I'm engaged. I'm
in the middle of a chase. but that's also not important. You are in this other world, and when you watch a movie, you're in the other reality, in the fake reality, and you are there, and you're engrossed in what's happening, and then
exactly, and that's more important. If a film, if you're noticing all these nitpicky little things, then
there is a problem.
Yeah,
you're right.
Exactly.
It's not engaging. It's not interesting. Yeah, I know we had a lot of continuity mistake. We had a lot through all the movies that I directed. Many.
Who cares? I'm sorry. That's for people with no interest in cinema.
Sometimes you have to make the decision if this is very noticeable, or is it part of the.
Can we get that? Can we get away with this?
You will never see it as an audience. And
because because what is it they say, that making a film is made in the edit. When you're sitting in that editing room, sweating away, thinking, can we make this shot work with this shot and this whole sequence work together?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Painful.
The filming part is just preparing the raw material, and it's important because if the acting is not good, you cannot fix a bad acting.
Yeah.
But filming is preparing the raw material to go to the editing room, for the director to work with the editor and paste it and put it together. This will change the perception. It changes the pace. It changes the geography of the room, of the place, by mere fact of the editing, of putting pieces together next to each other of film. That's definitely.
Well, one last question I have for you, Sam. Although I've got a million, right? But this is the most important one. When am I going to see another ninja movie out of you?
I don't know. Listen, maybe that Isaac Florentin directed a ninja movie not long ago, and maybe it's over. Maybe the ninja idea is over. Maybe it will come back in a big way, big budget studio movie.
Perhaps. As far as the Western world is concerned, you're the ninja master.
So
you really are.
I will be happy to watch it. But maybe that it's good that it's so, that we don't have another movie. American Ninja will be American Ninja without a remake.
Exactly.
A remake is not always,
Has there never been any talk between you and Dudikoff to do a wee revival, even like a reunion? Ninja.
The latest.
Yeah. I talk with Michael here and there. But
yeah.
We don't think about making them.
If they can bring back Ghostbusters and hand the Ghostbusters thing.
Yeah, but some things are better left alone. Why did they make West Side Story again? I do not understand.
No, I don't understand that either.
A great.
They finally got a Puerto Rican Maria. Yeah, well done.
Yeah, why do you want to make West Side Story again? Why?
I don't know. It would just be like a great kind of, when a great rock and roll band goes back on tour, to see you and Michael Dudikoff out there kicking ass again, that would be, that would be fun. Yeah. It would be fun. I honestly, whether you can repeat or, defeat Ninja 3, the Domination, who knows? It would still be fun no matter what the quality was. It would just be great to see you out there kicking ass.
Listen. What came out of the ninja movies was the Ninja Turtle. This was the glorifying of the Revenge of the Ninja. All of those was the beginning, and then Karate Boy and the Ninja Turtles were the,
Yeah, I know.
They came. That's what. This was the outcome.
They can't touch you, but they can't. I'm sorry, and I'm not massive into action films. I like deep film. Sorcerer with William Friedkin. That is one of my all-time favorite movies. Right, I think that is a very.
It was a French movie originally.
Powerful film. Yeah, it's a global film, and Wages of Fear. You're thinking of
Wages of Fear.
Yeah, that's right. The original. But I still have so much time and effort. Canon had so much respect for them. And I wonder if is there any Canon films that you did not direct that you love that you?
Well, I feel that the best Canon movie was Runaway Train.
Oh,
this is my opinion. They made like 100 movies, Canon, but I think that I really truly believe that
they knocked out the park for that one, didn't they?
The best Canon directed, Konchalovsky directed, the Andrei Konchalovsky. This one, I think, is the best Cannon movie ever made. You know, they made hits and here and
52 Pickup is another really interesting one they did with Frankenheimer. 52 Pickup, Roy Scheider. Yeah. And Margaret, Roy Scheider and Margaret, John Frankenheimer directed it.
Right, but
that's a really good one.
Yeah, they made few good movies. They but
they were on par. But I mean, they were like, they were on par with like major studios. Those ones. And I'm not saying Ninja 3 wasn't, because you were in your own league. You were were inventing the future right there. You were doing stuff that people hadn't even thought about with Ninja 3. I'm sorry, you were an innovator. But Frankenheimer, for the time, Frankenheimer was making Frankenheimer movies of his time, and 52 Pickup holds up really well.
But you see, let's say parallel to Canon, there was a Corelco, another company. They
Rambo
made
films.
Big hits, Corelco, huge hits. Canon never had this slack. You know, people love Canon. You know, when they see the Canon logo, say, "Well,
the thing is, you're saying
I'm going to see explosions and blood and." But they never made
but Kuroko had a lot of luck, but for a short period, they're gone now, right? Where are these?
No, they don't. They don't exist. All those companies don't exist.
Yeah. Besides, the only one that's still going
but they is Fatal Attraction, Rambo. Good.
Yeah, they're these massive blockbuster Oscars.
And it was independent, small company.
But here's the thing: the only one that I can think of from the 1980s that's still going is Trauma.
Trauma.
Yeah.
There are several of those companies like Canon. Several of them.
They're still alive today.
But Canon was the biggest output. Was Canon?
Oh yeah.
They made more movies.
I live in Scotland, right? When I went to the cinema, the ticket on the cinema ticket said Canon Cinemas. They owned the cinemas.
They bought the cinemas in England. I know.
Yeah.
This might be the reason that they went bankrupt, because they spent so much money to buying the cinemas in England.
Yes,
they were crazy.
They made 33 films in 1987 as well.
Mm-hmm. So, and then they tried to do some big budget movies that was not.
Maybe like one of them made money in 1987. We were talking about maybe American Ninja 2, Bloodsport.
Was Superman and was
He-Man,
the Toby Hooper that was done in England.
We're going to make
Invaders of Mars from Mars.
Yeah. And Master of the Universe. They tried high budget movies.
Steve Lambert was one of the aliens in Invaders from Mars. He hated making that film. He didn't like Toby Hooper at all. He said he was a drug abuser.
They didn't get along. Right.
That is
Yeah, I told you, Steve was a stubborn person. Very easy to control. For some reason, we got along. I got along with him, and not only this, it was very fruitful relationship. We came up with good ideas.
Yes.
But as I say, the proof is that in Hollywood, when he moved on to the big budget movies, he never became stunt coordinator. Yeah. He was a stuntman in the big budget movies.
And that was political.
Probably very good money, very good compensation. Excellent money and compensation. Yeah.
See, to be honest with you, Sam, I think that you're a gentleman who can get on with anyone. I think you're a guy that can get on seriously. And that's how you can
listen. I work with some actors which are considered difficult actors and no problems.
Wow. Yeah. That's Boogaloo Shrimp. Yeah, that Boogaloo Shrimp. He's a prima donna, that Boogaloo Shrimp.
Not Boogaloo. Boogaloo Shrimp was sweet.
He's a legend, man.
He's a great guy.
Right?
He's still active. Boogaloo Shrimp is still very active.
The whole revolving room, was that not based on him watching The Thing for the first time?
No. It's based on a Fred Astaire movie.
And the Fred Astaire,
Royal Wedding.
Yes. Yeah, I know that it had been done before by Fred Astaire, but I know that Boogaloo Shrimp had seen that film, The Thing, and he wanted to go on the.
No, it was not his idea. The idea was Menachem Golan. But the original idea is Fred Astaire created this idea.
Quite amazing.
In the movie Royal Wedding.
And you're the only guy to do the revolving room with two actors in the same frame. Am I right?
You can put two. The difference that we made. Listen, it was used in 2001. It was used in many movies. The actual gamble, the mechanism we got from Friday the 13th. It was used before in Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
And our people took it from Friday the 13th. The mechanism.
Lionel Richie.
It's called the gamble. But what we did, the one difference that I did is here. Usually when the dancer is dancing on the ceiling, he's dancing on the floor. You know, the cameraman is on the ceiling. Because the room revolves. So the cameraman is on the ceiling, which is the floor, and the dancer is in the floor, which is the ceiling. Okay.
Right.
But then you can have only one person. You can have two persons dancing in the ceiling if you want. But what I requested, and this was I in my mind, I said, I want to see two people, one on the floor and one on the ceiling at the same time. So while he's dancing on the ceiling, the girl is walking into the door in the same shot. So
that's
actually, she was mounted upside down. He was dancing on the floor. She was on the door was like then, but then the door is up there. And so through tricks of editing, you see her coming in. But at some point, she was mounted to the ceiling, which is the floor, which is upside down, and she was strapped to the wall, and her hair was jailed, so the hair will not go the other way. You know? If you're upside down, everything has to be mounted. All the pictures, everything, nothing can move. You know, you have glasses on the table; they are glued because they go upside down.
Yeah.
And the scenery in the window, you see trees. All the trees are glued. Everything goes together.
All because Turbo is in love.
The lights, everything rotates together.
He starts dancing up the walls.
So there is a shot. There is one frame that you see him dancing, and she's looking at him, but it looks the other way. She comes in.
Yeah, but it's all one shot.
Dancing he's dancing on the ceiling in the same shot. Both of them together.
Yeah, that's great.
This is the difference that I did not invented it, but I requested it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
You're an absolute legend. Oh my goodness, I've had so much fun talking to you, Sam. and I can't believe I'm calling you Sam.
Same here.
It's Mr. Furstenberg to you.
I I like to tell the stories, and I like to preserve the legacy of the cinema, of the movies that I directed, and the similar movies that other people directed. Toby Hooper and Steve Carver and we mentioned Sheldon and Joseph Zito was one of us in the group, and one day Steve Carver passed away, and the other director passed away, the one who directed the Cyborg.
Albert Pune.
Albert just passed away last year. Albert was part of the group.
Sword and the Sorcerers is highly underrated.
So I'm very happy to be here and help to preserve the legacy of this group of movies, which is now they're recognized. They are called the genre movies, the low budget genre movies of the 80s. And I'm telling you, I'm reading now the book that Tarantino wrote, and he relates to this group. In his book, he relates to this group as a genre, as a group of movies which are in the 80s and the beginning of the 90s. And then the studios took over. The studio took over.
You guys are real. To me, people like you and Albert Pune are real filmmakers. See, I'm sorry, but see these big guys that are on budgets of $200 million.
Yeah.
That's just ego. I'm sorry, they're not. To me, I'm not saying they're not filmmakers, right? But you guys are nitty gritty. All you care about is making film, getting it done on time, on budget, getting it out there. That's to me is real filmmaking. That's what I really respect. I'm sorry,
and as I mentioned before, we are the second generation of the classical Hollywood.
Yes,
the young nowadays young director who deals with action and sci-fi, they're the product of video games.
Yes,
because they
absolutely, and it's obvious. It's evident in their mise en scène,
the way they make movies, obviously. Yeah. But there are still good movies. Last year,
there are some really talented.
Nora was a fantastic movie last year.
Yeah, Sinners. Have you seen Sinners?
Yeah, the fantastic. Which one?
Sinners.
No, I saw Anora, and then it got
Anora was great. Yeah, loved it.
Academy
Yeah, no,
Award.
I hear Weapons is really good. I've not seen it, but
Yeah, there are many good and talented films.
But you need to go looking for it now. Back in the day, we were spoiled. We were spoiled.
One a week at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for having me, guys.
No,
anybody who wants to read much more about it,
oh yes, the book is here.
Amazon, they can get this book, Stories from the Trenches.
It's all the details.
Stories from the trenches.
And of course, YouTube. Everybody of the listeners can go to
the next time you can test me on it. You can test me on it.
Sam Furstenberg YouTube channel and Sam
He's on YouTube as well. Does the clips.
Facebook and Instagram, always stories and things are happening all the time. And we will post this interview on YouTube as well.
Yes, there you go.
I'm so honored to have met you, Mr. Furstenberg. You're an absolute legend in my eyes, and you always will be.
My pleasure, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was fun.
All right.
Adios. We'll see you in the movies, like we said.
Excellent.
Bye-bye.
All right, thanks.
The balcony is closed.
Right, so there we go.
Wow. We never watched a single scene in that movie. Missed my VHS scene.
Yes, Mr. Topless at the back. But yes, there we go. That was talking to Sam.
That was a big surprise. I didn't know anything about Sam Furstenberg coming here at all. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
What you like?
I know. I won't bother next time. I know you're disappointed.
No, please. Honestly, if you're gonna bring I don't know, whoever next, I can't think. Hard to top Sam Furstenberg.
Well,
he is just
ninjas and samurais and avenging forces.
He's got to be one of the most underrated directors of the 1980s. To be honest,
yeah,
I'm surprised that he does. Like I said, I'm surprised that the big studios didn't go after him. Or Michael Mann didn't get him for an episode of Miami Vice. I think it's probably to do with that Canon loyalty. I think Canon were separate. We don't want to fuck with them. We don't play with them.
Yes, I think it was one of those. Like you said,
I think politics. So. And I heard that there was even accusations of anti-Semitism in Hollywood. Who'd have thunk it? Right?
Yeah, crazy, right?
I know. But I don't know. But even what's his name? Aaron Spelling. There's that famous clip. Have you ever seen that clip of Aaron Spelling having lunch with Menahem Golan? Oh, it's so good. Because I know that he produced a comedy that I quite like, by the way. It's called Surrender with Michael Caine and Sally Field.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. It's a good... They're perfectly cast. I think Sally Field and Michael Caine have chemistry. It was. But Steve Guttenberg is meant to be Sally Field's ex-husband in it. And he is so miscast. He just doesn't work. But Michael Caine and Sally Field, they do have chemistry. And that was an Aaron Spelling co-production with Canon. And there's footage of them having lunch together. And they're using paper plates and plastic knives and forks as they're eating food. And this is Aaron fucking Spelling. This is the guy that created Charlie's Angels, for Christ's sake. And he's sitting using plastic knives and forks in the back office of Canon.
Oh, that I have seen. I was thinking the other guy. Yes.
Yeah. You're just like that. It just doesn't. It doesn't smell of Hollywood, right? It's just very kind of this is like you and me going for a pint,
Yeah.
Right?
We're
putting $1 million deals together. It's I don't know.
Excellent.
It's great.
Now I was trying to think. I've watched a film that was probably made in '83 that had, or '84, that had Ninja 3 on the marquee, and I forgot what bloody film it was in. So, if anyone knows, let me know. I know I watched Breathless, and it's got posters for Ninja 3 on the wall.
Breathless is severely underrated, but I can't honestly watch the French version. The Richard Gere one is the one that I watch. I know. I'm a Philistine. I don't.
The lovely French girl. Is she French? Yeah.
The actress was French. I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've watched it.
Ah.
But, I need a cigarette after that.
Yeah, let's wrap this up. Man needs his fix. He's had a rough night.
Yeah.
Don't meet your heroes, they say.
Yeah, no, because they might be amazing. I mean, just look at Curly Girl meeting Eminem. Did you see that shit? What the fuck?
No.
Yeah, you know Curly Girl at the movies? She met Eminem.
Nice.
You know?
So yes,
the real Slim Shady. Sam.
That's what Sam sent me last time. After he signed my American Ninja VHS. But yes, if you want to hear a proper commentary by Steve Lambert about the actual film, get the Blu-ray if you can, or the DVD.
You want me just giving him a big fucking verbal blowjob for an hour?
Yes. Let me put that back. Keep it safe. Before I pack it away again. Right. Let's wrap this up. There is a little message from Steve at the end, and then so thanks for Terence for doing this, and then we'll be back.
I didn't do anything. I just sat and drank and chatted with one of my heroes.
Yes, I envy his hair too.
It's fake. It's just like glued on with like.
It's like a Steve Lambert wig for Dudikoff. All right, take care, everyone. Until next time, we'll say goodnight. Oh no, hang on.
Hopefully, more Burt Reynolds movies to come.
Oh well, haven't we done the good ones?
Yeah. Well, a cop and a half. It's the best. Come on.
Don't think I have that one.
It's not hard to find.
So it's hard to watch, especially as they made a sequel to it. Right, I finally added the video, so right, there we go. So we'll play this out. And so thanks everyone. Yeah, I'm not doing cop and a half. No striptease.
Thank you, my friends. Take care.
All right, take care, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Thanks,